All right, guys. This week's discussion question is going to revolve around vehicle maintenance, fluid service, and recycling, as the chapter indicates. I want to revert back to where we started the previous week with using the ProDemand system, just to get you a little more experience. So go ahead and go to prodemand.com, and then you're going to click to log in. The username here for this is Southwestern College. You can see mine's already pre-populated, all lowercase. And then for the password, you're going to type in automotive with a capital A. So automotive with a capital A. Then when we get here, we want to pick a vehicle. I'm going to pick, you got to be careful with some of the newer stuff. I'll just give you a little bit of general understanding of Mitchell and all data systems. Typically, these systems can run anywhere from 4, 5 to 6 years behind. So I would recommend, let's just look up like a 2011. I'll look up my truck. I have a newer one, but it won't work. Oh, I don't have a Tundra. (2011) Toyota, and then a Tacoma. So it's good. I don't know. We look up the V8 4-liter. We'll just look up, I don't know, pre-runner. It's fine. One of the things I would like to point out, I'm just going to make this up. I'm going to pick out that it's an extra cab. You'll notice over here there's an odometer reading. This can help since we're dealing with maintenance. So I'm going to put in, I don't know, 50,000 miles. Okay. And then we're going to select use that vehicle. And it's going to open up this page, and you'll see these are the main icons here along the top. This week specifically, though, let's take a look at some of our maintenance items. Now, if you drop over here to the window, you'll see this one that says maintenance on it. Click on maintenance, and then it'll kind of default to the mileage on the vehicle. Below it, you'll find a column for time, right? If you want to add that in there. Sometimes time also adds to some additional maintenance. Depending on where you're at, it gives you kind of an idea. You can also let customers know when their big services are coming up and so forth. But all of that being done, you can see here 50,000 doesn't look like as much of a service. It looks like 45,000 was kind of a big service, and 60,000 miles was a bigger service. You see, there's a lot of things. So let's just for giggles hop over to the 60,000. And for example, let's say we needed to do the transmission fluid on the vehicle, right? We could click on that because you can see the highlighted link, and it takes us right to the procedure for how to do this, which can be very handy for the how do I do this job, right? What do I need to do? You know, where it's located, where the drain plugs are, and so forth, where the fill plugs are. And then you'll notice this one actually has a special procedure where there's an overflow plug in here, which means that you fill this up, you start the car up, and you run it up, usually to a certain temperature. If we take a look here, I'm just scrolling down really quick. That's fluid temperature check. Oh, here it is, fluid tech stream. So tech stream is the tool for them. And then there's the fluid temperature that they want you to start at and run it up to before you cap it off. In other words, as the transmission heats up, the fluid expands, and then it goes out that overflow pipe and drains out. And you'll learn more about that in transmission class repair here at Southwestern. But one thing that would be very handy to do something like this, you don't necessarily need a Toyota tech stream to read the temperature of the transmission. A lot of scan tools would do that. But let's say, hey, you know, it's the weekend. I want to do this. I want to have all my parts ready. I want to do it first thing in the morning. You don't want to do it when the transmission is hot, because the fluid will be hot, you know, potentially burning you. It's much easier to do things when they're not hot. So one of the things that we could look at here is that you'll notice that they've got certain things that help us for fill amounts right here, right? With the transmission drain pan and drain removal, the valve body removal, how many quarts of fluid I would need, right? So that would be important, because I'm going to go down to the store. I don't want to have not enough fluid if I'm going to try to fill this up. And if you look down here at the bottom, it's giving you lots of the temperature information. There's a lot of good information here to know about. Let's scroll up here, and if we take a look at the specs on this job, right, here's a bunch of the torque specs as well. Like if we didn't know, for example, maybe Like the drain plug, that's a good one to know, right? You can see here, like in Newton meters or foot pounds, that drain plug is 28 Newton meters or 21 foot pounds or 285 feet of kilogram force. I don't think this is not very common. The foot pounds and Newton meters are probably the most, but your torque specs are found here. There's also some reset procedures here, right, for some of the tire pressure monitoring system, some of the oil change information that would be very useful. I'd also like to point out that if I needed to know, for example, what kind of time I could expect, like how much of my weekend is this going to take me, I potentially could go here under the estimator, look up the transmission time here, and then I can find the labor for some of these things, right? Depending on what I was trying to do on this particular engine. And there's also a parts listing here as well for some of the items that I might need for this vehicle. And this would just help to prep me, number one, to get some kind of idea of cost and time if I needed certain, pieces for the vehicle. Let me go back here. Oh, I'm still under the estimate. Sorry, I was a little confused myself. I'm going to go back to maintenance. And under maintenance, right, take a look here. Services. And we're under the 60,000 mile thing. So let's go take a look at something that'd be more common to you guys. Let's just look up a simple engine oil and filter. So now, right, I want to do the engine and oil change on my vehicle over the weekend. If I go down and I look here, I get my same thing, the torque specs and so forth for various items that are related to this. And if I look down here on some of the specs for the oil service, giving me clearances and measurements. I don't know if I necessarily need that right now, but let's say that I wanted to know, in this case, the quantities, right? That might be something I want to know. So let's go back to our home page. Oh, we use the same vehicle. Go into our search thing here. And if we go under fluid capacities, right, it'll pull up all the fluid. So remember, we talked about the transmission first. This is for a 5-speed. Looks like 5-speed transmission, all with or without towing package. And then you can see here are the fluid levels. So if I went down to, the local AutoZone, Pep Boys, whatever, to get fluids, you went and looked, you need 11 and a half, and I gotta say half a quart, so you're gonna need 12 quarts of transmission fluid for this vehicle, plus the filter, right? But let's say we're doing the engine oil. If you look down here, you got 4 different columns here. So 4.4 liter engine rear wheel drive, refill with filter, and drain and refill without filter. I don't know why anyone would want to change their engine oil on a weekend without doing the fluid, unless maybe they made a mistake or something. I don't know. But if we look here, we would need 5 quarts of oil, and it's telling us the weight. We need an SAE 5W30, right? And it gives us a little bit of information related to why that is. It's also saying that we use 10W30 could be used, but it should be replaced with 530 at the next oil change. So if they didn't have this fluid available, they're giving us some options. So you can see now, we're all busy. If you're working during the week and you're planning on doing this on a Saturday, and your wife and kids and everything, or your girlfriend wants to hang out with you, and you want to have a barbecue in the afternoon, you don't want to have your whole day ruined. So what you'd want to do is probably go get all these parts ahead of time down at your local parts store, and then once that was done, you could maybe knock it out in the morning and not ruin your whole day or not be missing parts and chasing yourself. So what I would like you guys to do this week is look up your own vehicles, look up your own oil changes, and see what kind of fluid capacities you would need, for engine oil for it. And then I'd like you to report back here on what you found for your vehicle. And any special service resets. This is another area that's constantly bugging guys that are out there. So if you do the service, right, the reset procedure, see this reset here? Under the reset, see, there's the engine oil replacement reminder. So that little annoying light that tells you maintenance is due. This actually tells you the procedure for it. And I know there's stuff on YouTube and some other sites out there, but this is like one-stop shopping. You can kind of go down through here. You can see they got all the different reset procedures. But look up the reset procedure for your car, and then come back and share, what fluid you need for your car, and potentially, what kind of oil capacities and so forth you would need to prep yourself for an oil change for whatever vehicle you look on. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing what you got. Thanks.